person should gain the spirit of fasting. When a person is close to a person, if you fast, you earn lots of taqwa. That makes you close to what? Close to Almighty Allah. When your soul is purified, you are closer to Almighty Allah. When you reach to the level of nafsul mutma'inna, you are closer to Almighty Allah. That qualifies you to speak more to Almighty Allah, to present your problems to Almighty Allah, to discuss your matters with Almighty, as you discuss with your friend. This is munajat, this is dua. Munajat is like dua, but munajat is like discussing with Almighty Allah, saying to Almighty Allah what problems you are facing in your life. The early Salafus Salihin, the Sahaba, the Tabi'un, the awliya of Almighty Allah, Ahlul Bayt for instance, they have this type of munajat in their life. We have Sahifa Sajjadiyya, the munajat of Abdul Qadir and the munajat of Imam al-Baghdadi. And so we have so many munajat which is not existing today. People left this thing. Munajat, like the Prophet ﷺ, after the incident of Taif, what did he say to Almighty Allah? He did his munajat. Means he started discussing his concerns with Almighty Allah. It's not like dua, it's more of a discussion. The way you discuss it, Almighty Allah is a friend of those good people. So they are discussing their concerns with Allah. He's saying, Allahumma inni ashku ilayka da'fa quwwati. Almighty Allah, I'm discussing with you, or presenting you, or complaining to you the weakness of my might. وَقِلَّةِ حِيلَتِي, and lack of means which I have. وَهَوَانِي عَلَى النَّاسِ, and that the people are not giving the due respect to me. So he's discussing his concerns with Almighty. He's not saying, oh, Almighty Allah, curse these people and revenge for me from these people. He's not saying that. It's not a dua. It's actually a munajat. You are qualified for munajat when your soul is purified with fasting. You feel that Almighty Allah is the closest one to you, and you discuss your concerns with Almighty Allah. And that's why, in the center of these verses of Psalm, you have this verse number 186, which says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. The verse of dua is mentioned in the center of the verses of Psalm. Before the verse of dua, the verses of Psalm. After the verse of dua, the verses of Psalm. And in the center comes the verse of dua. It is actually in the center of your fasting, you gain a special relation with Almighty Allah, which qualifies you to speak to Almighty Allah in a way in which you are not qualified before. And that's why the Messenger ﷺ says that the dua of the parents is not rejected by Almighty Allah. The dua of the musafir is not rejected by Almighty Allah, the traveler. And the dua of the person who is fasting is not rejected by Almighty Allah. So a person, when he gains the spirit of Ramadan, when he understands the spirits of Ramadan, he creates these traits in him. If these traits are created in him, he can discover that he is now fulfilling the spirit and the purpose of Ramadan. And he benefited truly from the month of Ramadan.